Everybody knows bodybuilding not for health.
I mean, you could do it healthy for
It's
sure.
to be sick. It's to look sick and be sick.
Do you want to look good or be healthy?
I'm happy to see that Chris is standing his ground, saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I will not take steroids. Coach Greg, in today's video, Mikey of the Tren twins, well, he's delusional, and Chris, he's actually making sense. Normally, the main purpose of the video is to sell you guys some Turk, but in today's video, it's actually to congratulate Chris for having the wherewithal, the fortitude, to say no to abusing steroids. And by that, I mean to abusing them more. Mikey, as well as Urs, peer pressure the shit out of him to up his doses, telling him that without more steroids, he's not going to be happy, that he has to choose between being healthy or being happy. And since stated in previous videos, when unsure of what to do, what would Greg do? And so if Greg would not up the doses, would not take more Tren, then you don't do it. And so you can see, if you listen to myself or perhaps Jesus Christ, the Lord, whoever, I would suggest you start by listening to me. Your life is going to be better than ever.
You ever wonder why this shit of a whole chicken is $5? I'll tell you why. It's pumped full of antibiotics, a bunch of other shit.
And so I'm feeling like his advice, it does make some sense, but it's just a little bit ironic coming from someone who's abusing Tren. The meat's been degraded. They pumped it with this. They pumped it with that. You're pumped up with Tren. And so as soon as you inject Tren, everything that you're eating, it's not a big deal. In comparison to the steroids that you're doing, the foods that you're eating, it's the low-hanging fruit.
You're thinking, oh, I get home from work, oh, I just I'll grab a rotisserie chicken for the kids. No, you're giving them hella drugs, all right?
How does that make any sense? And so if you want to be healthier than last time, if you cut out the Tren and you keep eating all the pesticide foods and whatever, you're still going to be healthier. And so if given the choice between eating all organic everything and not injecting Tren, you pick not injecting Tren. Does that make sense?
I gotta ask you not to be recording and doing videos in the store.
I thought you were just allowed. I mean, we'll turn it off.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And so the Tren twins, who are suffering a little bit of main character syndrome here, they're going to Costco. They're not even buying anything, really. They're just yapping, making a video, which, hey, it's no harm. They decide to open up some of the food and start eating it while filming in the store. And so they're approached and told, guys, you can't film and you can't just open up food and eat it without paying for it. It's kind of illegal. And so you're going to have to get out of the store and buy what you've already opened.
Have an open product.
Oh, we're going to buy it, yeah.
I know, but you can't.
You want some?
No, but until it's paid for, unfortunately, we can't have people eating food.
Yeah, come on.
So.
All right, thank you.
And yet they still open it. And so when you read the nutrition label, so for example, you read a Seco bar and you're thinking 230 calories, a massive bar, holy cow, 70 grams, 20 grams of protein. I want that. And so you go to the website and you enter code CICO, calories in, calories out, and you get it for half price. It's $20 for 12. It's far better than anything you're going to get at Costco. And so you can get more protein than last time from the comfort of your own home. The reviews for this are through the roof. I'm talking about 5-year-olds reviewing it, older people reviewing it, everyone saying it's a 9, 9.5, or in fact a 10 out of 10.
Those Costco guys got special permission or some shit? You know the Costco guy?
What Costco guy?
They like go to the Costco?
He doesn't know the Costco guy. I mean, I barely know the Costco guy and I make YouTube videos. The Costco guy is from years ago. There's no way he knows the Costco. I mean, it's possible, but like, it's not going to work. And so what you need to do when you film at Costco is you do it discreetly, you know, quickly here, quickly there. They're not going to notice. You post a video, no one's going to give a shit. But if you're out there opening up foods and eating them, which is in fact illegal, I know you're planning to buy it after, but it's not just good for the vibes. Most people, average people, they're scared of us muscular men with tattoos and so on, with cameras recording. And so the regular shoppers in the store, they get a little bit nervous. And so you gotta respect the store just a little bit. I mean, you gotta feel bad for bro working at Costco for minimum wage or perhaps a little bit more than that. And he's like, do I really have to walk up to these guys who are filming, these muscular men, 200 plus pounds of muscle, can bench press 500 pounds, and tell them that they're not allowed to open up the food and eat it on film before buying it? But I guess it's my job. At least they weren't disrespectful, although he kept eating it, talking to him. They never got mad. They never yelled at him. And so, hey, props to the twins for keeping their cool. And for the manager as well.
Now we gotta wait in this hour line to buy one product.
And so again, an hour-long line to buy one snack when they could have gotten the Kaiko bar, Seiko, from the comfort of their own home. You click on the website, and while you're there, of course, you add into your cart the Turk Builder Max. I mean, did you not think I was going to promote this in this video? Guys, this is the #1 selling supplement of HDLT supplements. Tens of thousands of people buy the product and keep rebuying it. It's from Uzbekistan. We've been vindicated. It's not snake oil. We've exposed the other business for lying, for selling nothing inside whatsoever. No peaks for ectosteroids, no peaks for testosterone. I'm perhaps the only person in the world not scamming you. And yet, there's a few people that say, oh, it doesn't work. You didn't even try it. And why didn't you try it when there's literally a money-back guarantee, and on top of that, a $50 gift card? And so if I was thinking, how can I scheme HDLT supplements? This is what I would do. I would buy the supplement, right? I would use half of it, and then I would ask for my money back, right? So you spent $80 minus the discount code. You're probably unemployed because you're watching this right now. And you save yourself 20% off. That's $16 off the $80. It's only $64. For $64, this comes to your door. You use half of it. You ask for your money back. You get the money back. And on top of that, a $50 gift card. And so who schemed who? I offer a product that works, that tens of thousands of people keep rebuying. You get to try the product, even if you don't believe that it works. And if it doesn't work, you get a $50 gift card on top of it. How does that make me bad? And so imagine if every person that watches this video right now did this. 100,000 people would buy the Turk, right? 100,000. And if you all wanted to, 100,000 people could say, I want my $50 gift card. They would get their money back. And a $50 gift card, $50 times 100,000 is $5 million. I would then give out $5 million of gift cards. It wouldn't even make a dent, guys. $5 million wouldn't even make a dent. And so what would actually happen, out of the 100,000, couple hundred, perhaps 1%, whatever, are going to say, you know, I didn't feel it, I didn't notice it. And how long is that going to take? Like a week. If you didn't notice it in a week, get your money back right away. It's not going to take you 2 weeks to feel it. Oh, it's going to take 6 months. No, it's not friggin' growth hormone. I'm not a snake oil sleazebag salesman trying to convince you to keep buying a product that doesn't work. The rest of you are going to say, wow. Wow. They'll understand why people are writing comments saying, I used it, it works. Why I'm getting flooded with DMs saying, I saw the Twig video and bro is lying. Don't forget, code unemployed for all of you who are unemployed, it's most of you, and code Greg if you happen to be watching this while at work.
If I heard what you were saying the entire time in the store, I would kick your ass out. Get the out of here.
But that's the problem is people like you who are afraid to speak up and like give people some real knowledge.
Let's see what kind of real knowledge Mikey is going to try to give Chris.
I get scared, bro. I don't know. Just do what you gotta do, man. Stay healthy.
Yeah, only one way to the top.
Everybody knows bodybuilding not for health. I mean, you could do it healthy for sure. To be sick.
What I just witnessed was peer pressure from two men bigger than Chris, trying to convince him to up his doses, to use and abuse more performance-enhancing drugs in order to get jacked.
Is to look sick and be sick.
Do you want to look good or be healthy?
How is that supposed to encourage people to want to be bodybuilders, to try to do this sport? Do you want to look good or be healthy? If you want to be a bodybuilder, your health goes out the wayside. It doesn't have to be that way. You can look good, you can be healthy, and you can be happy. That is the perfect storm. Why would you want to look a certain way if you weren't healthy when health is wealth? If you're not healthy, you would trade all of your money, everything, in order to be healthy. And so why are we prioritizing freaky size, muscle striations, above health when health is the most important thing? It doesn't make any sense. Do you know what also doesn't make sense? Mikey telling Chris that he's on TRT.
I'm looking at him like, what the is this, TRT? Like literal TRT. I looked at him like, what's in here? He's like 0.2 test, 0.2 EQ.
and 0.1 Tren.
Now, I know I'm a part owner of Algo RX, and if you go to Algo RX and use code Greg, you get 10% off, and they do, in fact, take your blood work. Doctors can prescribe you enclomiphene, testosterone, HRT, peptides, GLPs, whatever. And last I checked in with them, they never told me that Tren nor EQ was part of TRT. Testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy. And what about Tren? Everyone knows that that isn't made for humans. We've seen people use Tren. Do I need to mention Mr. Mike, or how about Larry the third wheel? And so let us examine the strength of Chris's cycle to see, is it in fact only at HRT doses? And so 0.2 test, 0.2 EQ, and 0.1 Tren. That equates to 50 milligrams of test, 50 milligrams of EQ, and 20 milligrams of Tren, based on typical strengths per vial. Now, assuming 2 doses per week, it most certainly could be 3. And I'm assuming that because HRT would typically be 100 milligrams of test a week. Some people do a little bit more, other people do a little bit less, but 100 is a great place to start. And so if Chris did 2 shots of tests per week, he would be getting 100 milligrams of test a week. That is HRT. Everything on top of that is bonus. Now, I'm not saying what he should or shouldn't put into his body, but based on what Mikey's saying, he's also adding in 100 milligrams of equipoise, EQ, as well as 40 milligrams of Tren. Now, in comparing different anabolics, some are stronger, some are weaker than others. And so test is test. Let us use that as a standard. He's injecting 100 milligrams of test, and that 100 milligrams of equipoise is going to build about the same amount of muscle as perhaps 3/4 the amount of tests. And so equivalent to about 75 milligrams. The Tren, on the other hand, is going to build 3 times as much muscle on the same dose as test. And so the 40 milligrams of Tren, although it sounds very small, it looks very small, it's actually stronger than the test. And so that equates to 120 milligrams. If we add all of this up, it equates to approximately the same level of strength as 295 milligrams of test each and every week. In comparison, my HRT, which is higher than many people would need, but my testosterone levels are in the 700s or 800 nanogram per deciliter. My blood work, which of course I've done at Algo RX, it's very, very healthy. And so those are appropriate doses for me. It might be too much for you. It might be too little for you. That's up to you and your doctor. But Chris is taking equivalent to 295 milligrams, which is over double the strength of mine. And so when you look at Chris's physique, which is far better than mine, way more muscle than me, stronger than me, he is on over double the dose that I am. Now, if I doubled my dose of test, or if I copied his cycle, if I did the same exact dosages as Chris was doing, my muscles would get significantly bigger because that is what testosterone and androgens do. They add to your ability to build muscle.
You're not bulking for real.
I'm not. I'll start getting big. I'm seeing progress. And then my face, bro, I get fat. I get scared, bro. I don't know.
Perhaps Chris has watched videos from Coach Greg and he doesn't want to be the next Mr. Mike or Larry Wheels. He doesn't want to die at the age of 50, nor 40, nor even 30. He wants to live for as long as humanly possible. And although his doses right now, I would most certainly at least cut out the Tren, it's not as bad as many other competitors. I'm happy to see that Chris is standing his ground, saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I will not take steroids. But here's the thing. This scenario, it's more common than you think. Amongst men, when you have friends who are using steroids, in particular, if you're also using steroids, they're going to try to convince you to do more. Rare do people who use steroids try to convince other people to cycle off. You shouldn't do anymore. You should lower your doses. This is what I do. I am very rare. Most people, most coaches try to get their athletes to take higher doses. And why? Because the higher the dose that you take, the better you're going to look in terms of winning a bodybuilding show, the more dramatic the changes are going to be. And those before and after photos that really capture an audience. What they don't tell them is that they're abusing steroids, SARMs, peptides, the list goes on and on.
Only one way to the top.
Everybody knows bodybuilding not for health.
Urs and Mike are basically laying it on the line. Everyone knows what it takes to be at the top. Now, Urs was a top 3 classic physique competitor. probably was on lower doses. After all, if he took higher doses, how would he make that weight class? But since that time, he's moved up into open. He put on 20 more pounds of muscle. And guess what? It wasn't enough. He needs more size. And so what is he going to have to do? Well, to place in the top 5 or potentially ever win the Olympia, he's going to have to do stronger and higher doses than last time. And what do you think the end result is going to be? Is he going to be more or less healthy? When Urs gets older and he looks back and he reflects, what he's going to regret doing is asking himself this: what would Greg do? Urs, if you're watching this, Greg would have stayed in classic or he would go back. You can lower your doses and continue to compete at the top level. Will you win? Probably not. Very unlikely to beat Ramon Dino, for example, but you'll have your health. If you continue to put on more chasing size at all costs, it's going to take years off of your life. And so when Urs becomes an old man like Coach Greg, remember, I'm old man status. I'm 50. Urs, perhaps he's still in his 20s. He's going to look back and think, it wasn't worth it. I looked amazing in classic physique. Everyone loved my shape. Everyone loved my aesthetics. In open bodybuilding, did people love me more? Oh, there's more of him to love. Look at his quads. They're bigger. His chest is bigger. His biceps, badder. So, does bigger mean better? Case in point. Classic physique champion Wesley Vissers competes against open champion Mo at the Detroit Pro for the overall. They're the same weight. Wesley, about 8 inches taller. Mo, clearly more muscle. But is he better? Audience votes overall. Champion of Detroit, king of Detroit, Wesley Vissers. What if Wesley put on 40 pounds of muscle? Would that mean he's better? He'd be bigger. But just because you're bigger, it doesn't mean you look better. I would argue that Sebum at his very first Olympia, when he never even won, to most people looks better than when he was at his best. Was he as big? Nope. But did he need to be? And which physique do you think is healthier? And so the next time you're considering using that needle, going for it, you're getting pressured into using performance-enhancing drugs or perhaps even recreational substances, ask yourself, what would Greg do? Subscribe, click the bell button, and remember, HGLT is looking to sponsor more athletes, and so if you're interested, click the link. If you're looking to get coached by myself or myself and my team, or if you want to carry all the various supplements in your store and or gym, click the link. Obviously, watch one of those 2 bloops. Get the friggin' cookbook. Don't forget about that. And until next time, I am out.